Hello, in this video I'm going to explain how to replace a sky. Here's my starting image here, and you can see the sky's looking a little dull, but we can drop in a new sky to give our image a bit more impact. Now, this involves a smart selection technique using channels here in Photoshop CC. So rather than using these traditional selection tools that you'll find in the toolbar to select the sky, we're going to use channels instead, and this is really useful on images like this, where you can see there's all these little gaps and spaces between our tree here and the Eiffel Tower. So it's actually a really tricky cutout to make here, but we can use channel selections to carry out the job in just a few minutes. So let's get cracking. First of all, I'm going to go to Window Channels to open up my Channels panel, and here we have the RGB channel, which is the combined red, green and blue channel. Then we can access each channel individually, the red, the green and the blue. Now, areas of white indicate more of each of these colors present. So you can see the blue channel here gives us a really white sky. On the other channels, it's slightly duller. And we're looking for the channel that gives us the greatest contrast between the foreground and the sky. And here the blue channel gives us that. So what I'm going to do is drag the blue channel to the new channel icon here at the bottom to make a copy. Now we can start adjusting this copy here, because what I want is a completely white sky and a completely black foreground. To do this, we need to boost the contrast and perhaps start painting around our image to make our foreground completely black and the sky completely white. So let's just close down these panels for the moment, and I'm going to start by increasing contrast. I can use levels for this, so I can go to Image, Adjustments, Levels here. I can use that keyboard shortcut Command or Control and L, and then I'm just going to squeeze in the black point and the white point here to give us greater contrast like this. And we don't want to push it too far at this stage, so let's bring that to about there, and the whites to around about there. I think perhaps the black's in a little bit more. And I'm happy with that, so I'll hit OK. Now we're going to need to fine tune our channel a little bit more. We can do this using the brush tool, and we're going to actually paint freehand over these different parts of our image here. So I can grab the brush tool and we'll just bring the opacity up to 100. I can hit D, then X to set my foreground color to black, and then I can just start painting over these areas, and you can see I'm able to make them completely black. Now this is a good place to start, but I don't really want to have to paint freehand over all of these little gaps and spaces around here, because that could take a long time. Instead, I'm going to use a setting within the brush tool to speed up my painting. So I'm going to go to the mode option here and change this from normal to overlay, and perhaps I'll bring the opacity down slightly, somewhere around about 50%. Now you can see, if we just zoom in a little bit closer here, as I start painting, you can see I don't need to be so precise. Now the brush tool will seek out those darker tones for me and make them completely black while preserving the highlights. So it's a really useful feature here. By setting the brush tool to overlay, we can make sure that we target those blacks and leave the whites untouched. And this works just as well when you're using layer masks as channels. So if you have a layer mask or a different kind of cutout, perhaps if you've got some fringing around the edge, you can set your brush to overlay, and it just really speeds up the cutout process and gets rid of any fringing. You can just quickly paint along the edge and it'll get rid of any nasty fringing around the edges of your cutouts. And you can see that's done the job within seconds. Let's zoom out a little bit. I can do the same over the tree over here. So I'm just using the left and right square bracket keys to resize my brush tip here as I paint. And you can see we can just quickly go over the tree to pick up all of these branches without affecting the white areas behind. Now, I could also switch to white and the tool will behave in the same way, but this time we're going to make the whites white without affecting the blacks. So I can just hit X on my keyboard to flip my foreground and background colors here, and then start painting with white over the sky just to make sure it is completely white. And I'll just finish off over the tree over here. And I'm pretty happy with that. We can always fine tune things further later on when we convert our selection to a layer mask, but for now I'm pretty happy with this. So let's go back to our channels panel now. So I'll go to Window Channels again to access that. And now that we've got our foreground completely black and our sky completely white, what we can do is hold Command or Control, that's Command on a Mac, Control on a PC, and we can click on the channel here to load the white areas as a selection like this. Then we can click back on our RGB channel here just to bring up our combined channel view, and then we can go to our layers panel here. You can go to Window, Layers to bring up your layers panel if necessary. And then what we're going to do is convert our selection to a layer mask by clicking the Add Layer Mask icon here at the bottom of the Layers panel. And you can see what that gives us, a mask attached to our layer here. And those areas in black are going to be hidden. Now what we've done is actually the opposite of what we want. We've actually hidden the foreground and only revealed the sky. So what I can do, while that mask thumbnail there is highlighted, I can hit Command or Control and I. And that's the shortcut to invert the layer mask so that now we've managed to hide all those areas of sky. And now we're ready to drop in our new sky. So all we need to do is open up our sky image. I can grab the Move tool from the Tools panel over here, and I can just click and drag the image up to the tab of my other image and then drag it in and release to copy that sky layer over. Now mine fits nicely over my image, but if you need to resize, you can hit Command or Control and T and then drag the bounding box to resize the layer. And of course I need to drag this layer here below the cutout layer. So I'm just going to drag it below in the layers panel here, and now our sky sits nicely behind our foreground elements. And our image is nearly complete. But I think we could do with adding a tonal tweak on top of everything, because that will just help these different elements to gel together. At the moment, the colouring looks slightly different between our foreground and our background. So what I'm going to do is highlight the top layer there, click the Create Adjustment Layer icon here, and we'll go for a Colour Lookup Adjustment Layer just to give us a really quick effect. And we can click on the 3D LUT options here, and let's go for the Fall Colours preset here just to warm everything up and give it that nice warm autumn glow. And we can of course go on and make any other tonal adjustments we like, but I think I'll leave it there for now. So there we have it. That's how to create really quick complex cutouts using channel selections and drop in a new sky.